Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and this morning I'm looking at an excellent new book from Elgar Publishing Limited. They're an independent publishers. They produce something called intellectual property enforcement. Very important area of law at the moment. We've got a subtitle, a commentary on the Anti-Counterfeiting trade agreement. That's the ACTA. And it's been written by Michael Blakeney. There's a book here. We'll have a look at it in a minute. We've given it the title, Protecting IP Rights Worldwide, a New Strengthened Standard. And that's really what the current agenda is about in our view. Fundamentally, it is innovation which keeps markets and economies moving. But in the wake of new ideas, there are always counterfeiters and pirates out there, ready, willing and able to profit hugely by stealing them. I'm sure anybody who goes to a cinema will know exactly what we're talking about. Hence the pressing need for the protection of IP, and even more pressing need for effective enforcement worldwide. Enter ACTA, the Anti-Counterfeiting Trade Agreement, finally enacted on the 15th of April 2011. It's amazing how long it's taken. After several years, I hasten to add, of tortuous negotiations and in the teeth of opposition in 2006 from certain countries who will be named: Argentina, Brazil, China and India. That was in response to an EU proposal at the TRIPS Council meeting that year for an in-depth discussion of enforcement issues. I wonder why. The fact is that we've got something now which will assist people to protect their property interests. Just because they're intellectual rather than some piece of dirt is a totally different matter to some, but it's still the same problem of taking someone else's property. Recently published, therefore, by Elgar, this timely work of reference and research presents a thorough, scholarly and certainly readable examination of this newly enacted worldwide initiative, providing for enhanced international cooperation in enforcement matters. The agreement we're talking about promotes sound enforcement practices, and that's where we're moving. Quoting the press statement issued by the negotiating parties, Blakeney points out that the ACTA establishes a strengthened standard that builds on the minimum standards of the TRIPS agreement and therefore effects a considerable improvement in international trade norms for effectively combating the global proliferation of commercial scale counterfeiting and piracy in the 21st century. I think it's an extremely useful book. Do read our more detailed comments. This is the book itself. It's a very useful series of comments on the back. It's not a heavy book at all. You've got some standard comments about the things on the index there. The book runs to something approaching 400 pages. You will see immediately that there are lots of footnotes, and there's useful paragraph numbering, which you can see there, which means that you can find things quite quickly. I'm very pleased with it because obviously the detail, there are the contents, the detail that has been covered is particularly helpful. You will find the abbreviations useful too, because obviously there's an awful lot that possibly one might just need to be a bit more familiar with. Do read the actual introduction right at the beginning too. Thank you to Mr. Blakeney and to Elgar. It's a very useful addition to the continuing debate on protecting our rights. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.